This is Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance on the Central Coast, and we are joined by Debbie Arnold. She is a member of the Board of Supervisors in San Luis Obispo County. And recently, my teenage daughter, started asking me questions about the use of drugs and alcohol. Always a difficult conversation.
Oh, that's the hard part of parenting.
Yes. And what I didn't realize is I needed to talk to her about synthetic drugs. I wasn't really familiar with synthetic drugs. You've opened my eyes a bit about them. Tell us about the two categories of synthetic drugs.
Right. And since synthetic drugs are a little bit new on the scene, and at least in this county, we've just recently taken action to ban the possession, the sale, the distribution of synthetic drugs, and kind of new to me as well.
Right. So let's back up, though, and talk about what are they? Because there seem to be two categories.
Okay.
There's synthetic marijuana. You could explain that to us. And then bath salts?
Right. So synthetic marijuana, better known as spice.
Right.
In this county, that's kind of the nickname.
Right.
And it is just what it says it is. Synthetic marijuana that may be laced with other chemicals, and just there's really no way when you're purchasing it at a store to know that. And then the bath salts, again, it's just chemicals that mimic other drugs that we know are illegal, but these are not on any radar screen to have been made illegal. So consequently, these are very commonly sold in stores.
They're legal. They're truly legal. And I want to delve into that more deeply. But before we delve deeply into this question, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about just a horrendous tragedy that befell this community and really opened up San Luis Obispo County's eyes to the scourge of synthetic drugs. In October of 2014, what happened?
Well, there was an accident on Highway 1 on the coast, and it was a 17-year-old young man. It was a car accident. 4 people were thrown from the car. The 17-year-old driver and a 22-month-old child were killed in the accident, and later discovered that this young man had been smoking the spice, which would be the synthetic marijuana that he'd purchased at a smoke shop.
Legally.
Legally. So
in Cambria.
Exactly.
And so what surprised me about this dilemma is that there have been attempts at various levels of government to regulate against. I believe the federal government recently passed a law to prevent the proliferation of these drugs. I think it was in 2012. Yeah, the Synthetic Drug Abuse Prevention Act, signed by the president in 2012, categorized 26 different types of synthetics as Schedule 1. The DEA is trying to get a handle on this. But like you said, the problem becomes, how do you classify every possible synthetic?
Exactly. And we know that, it's discovered, we hear about all kinds of things that household items that can be hallucinogenic if you ingest them or smoke them.
So my dad is a pharmacist, and he told me, this is years ago, that they had to put cough syrup behind the counter. Why? Because cough syrup can be manufactured into, is it methamphetamine? Is that why? I can't remember. Whatever it is.
Well, a lot of the common cold capsules, again, are behind the counter, things that were easy to purchase for the common cold, because they were used in the methamphetamine recipes. So,
and so what we've learned about these synthetic drugs is that they can have dramatic consequences. Aside from this car accident, there has been a spike in reference to poison control centers, about 229% over 2014 to 15. People are showing up in hospitals with rapid heart rate, increased blood pressure, and then there's the psychosis.
Exactly, and suicides, recorded suicides. So very dangerous, and like you say, legal. And several cities have banned the sale, distribution, possession of synthetic drugs, and the county just recently banned that altogether.
And let's explain why. Because San Luis Obispo County, for those of us not familiar with this beautiful Central Coast community, has 7 cities, but lots of unincorporated areas.
Absolutely.
And so it's fine if the 7 cities ban synthetic drugs, but then you have huge swaths with no bans.
The example we just discussed
Right.
about the young man in the car accident, a smoke shop in Cambria. We
Right.
have several unincorporated.
Cambria is not a city. It's not a city.
Unincorporated towns,
right.
we'll call them, that would have been able to sell and had been selling, and then gas stations and convenience stores along the travel routes throughout the county. So it was very easy to get, and sadly, it's become, an epidemic among young people.
Right.
So we were very happy we had the support of our district attorney and our sheriff.
And that's really key. As I understand it, they really were the impetus behind this. They're the experts in law enforcement.
Right.
And they came to you,
Right.
the Board of Supervisors, and said, we need a new ordinance.
Right.
And so that's how this, I believe, marched through the Board of Supervisors.
We did, and our sheriff was kind of simultaneous. For me, we had a few people in my district in and around the city of Atascadero, and one longtime community member and former city councilman Jerry Clay has been very involved in and around the high school, and he kind of at the same time saw this as a serious problem that was starting to get more serious, and had been lobbying me as his county supervisor to get this ban and put in place. He'd already successfully lobbied the city of Atascadero. So we were all, I think, hearing from constituents, and the sheriff was, of course, happy to have the support because he realized that this needed to be addressed.
Let me ask you, if I may, because it's hard to deny that it's likely marijuana will become legal in California in November.
That's what we're
Yeah,
hearing.
that's what I'm not a political scientist,
Right.
but it's going to be on the ballot.
Yeah.
And some conservative Republicans support it for libertarian principles, some liberal Democrats support it for humanitarian principles.
Yeah.
And so, is San Luis Obispo County ready? Are you getting ready?
We're getting ready. In fact, we'll be within the next month.
Right.
We will be addressing it.
Right.
We will have to come up with an ordinance concerning the cultivation. So we
Right.
have different things going on here.
Right.
We've had the legalization of medical marijuana, and some.
Do you have any dispensaries in the county? I thought
We don't. We just recently had another application.
Right.
But as far as law enforcement was concerned, it wasn't a good location.
Do you know if any of your cities in this county have dispensaries, or are there no dispensaries anywhere in this county?
No, but it is dispensed with delivery service.
I understand.
But no brick and mortar
Right.
dispensaries. So that's one issue. But the cultivation is another very interesting issue because that lands right in our lap as a land use issue.
And I know that the state has revised the law that they passed last year, but many cities and counties were up against a deadline of March 1st to legislate on cultivation. That deadline is passed, but it is a question. Look, a lot of farming lands in San Luis Obispo.
And how? Because
Right.
Cultivation, where and how, and where is
wine
it
doesn't go
appropriate?
so well for y'all.
Exactly.
Maybe it's time to
Exactly.
start growing marijuana.
That's the thing. If any high value crop is going to be attractive
Right.
to any farmer,
So what do you hear on the street in San Luis Obispo County about this question?
We're just starting to hear the discussion because we're not talking personal use anymore.
Right,
now we're talking commercial cultivation. So will we be the county known for our grapes, known for our citrus,
pod.
or known for our marijuana?
This is crazy. Thank you so much for
you're
joining us. Her
welcome.
name is
My
Debbie
pleasure.
Arnold. She is a member of the Board of Supervisors in San Luis Obispo County on the central coast of California. My name is Brad Pomerance. Thank you so much for joining us on Charter Local Edition.